One of the biggest features of Perisno is the Zann Invasion. The Zann dynasty is a Japanese/Chinese Mongolian inspired faction that will invade Perisno with a massive force. According to the Perisno wiki, they land with about 9,000 men. By default, the Zann lands on day 156, but this can be changed in the mod settings. Regardless of when they land, you can come across Imperial scouts well before that, as well as a few elite parties of samurai soldiers scouting the land, fighting bandits. They are initially neutral to the player, but if you attack them, the Zann Invasion will be hostile towards you. There's also a castle called the Zann Fort north of Leuven. One of the unique quests involved doing a job for the Zann, which as a reward lets you hire Zann warriors. However, on day 156, you do not want to be near the Zann. I'm not sure if they always land in the same areas, but for me they landed in 4 places over 2 or 3 days. One invasion force landed in the plains behind Leuven, one landed on the coast in the Realm of the Falcon, another on the coast between Macavia and the Reich, and the main invasion force with the Zann Lords is coming from the Zann outpost, which turns into an official fief once the Zann land. Each landing force is comprised of 20 to 30 parties, numbering in the hundreds of mainly elite troops each, and they will attack any party or settlements in sight. Within 1 week, this is what Perisno looked like in my game. The wiki has a name for the first week of the invasion, the Black Week, and you can see why. Elentor is down to just 1 town and castle, same with Macavia. The Reich lost all of its coastal fiefs to the Zann, who also pushed into the Realm of the Falcon as well as the Hakon Empire. However, the Zann's strength is also its weakness. Those numerous parties that land, they are not lords, just armies. Once they attack a castle, they will become the garrison inside it, meaning they will no longer be in the field. They also don't respawn, so if they are destroyed, that's it. So, about a month into the invasion, the Zann stalled. Most of its advance parties have been worn down by sieges and battles, and just don't have the means to push further into Perisno. On the other hand, the other factions are recovering, but their armies are too small to attack most Zann-occupied settlements, as many of them have easily 1,000 men in their garrisons. The Zann will start signing peace treaties soon after. 2 months into my game, the Zann still holds most of their gains, with the exception of the force that attacked the Realm of the Falcon. They only have 1 castle left there, they even got pushed out of the Hakon Empire. Near Forneron, because the Geldar declared war on the Zann, their war parties slowly took out all of the Zann scouting parties left, and now the Zann can only hold the city with a large force. At this point, the Zann lords can't hope to actively defend all of their gains. One lord owning a fief in Elentor is not going to travel all the way to the Reich to defend a settlement there. This also means if they have an official campaign called up, this will leave almost all of their lands vulnerable to attack when their army is concentrated in one area. The only real solution they have at this point is that a lot of lords from the other factions will defect and join the Zann once they start conquering. These lords can be given land, and this means there will always be local defenses in place, somewhat. So to recap, by day 156, you do not want to be a lord or ruler in any of those areas. It's suicide. Or is it? According to the wiki, it is possible somewhat to resist the Zann invasion, but it seems very risky. As I've said before, scouting armies don't respawn, and while fighting them in the field is too dangerous, if you can fight defensively in a siege and win, you can very likely cripple the Zann's momentum in the area. So if for instance you defended in the Elentor faction, where most soldiers are archers, defending a castle is fairly advantageous, especially when you consider that most Zann soldiers don't even carry shields. Even so, I would not recommend you do that. If you're defeated, you could lose your fiefs and have to rebuild your entire army from scratch. Instead, steer clear of the Zann, save your strength. For the next part, it's time for us to start our own faction. Now the question is, where do you start your faction? Which faction do you attack? The 2 best options are, in my opinion, to either attack a smaller faction or wait for the Zann invasion to begin and attack a weakened faction. Let's explore both options, starting with attacking a smaller faction. Attacking a small faction over a large one is always preferable. They have fewer lords on the field, meaning you won't be as badly outnumbered, and taking the 1 or 2 settlements they have means they will almost immediately struggle to raise new armies to fight back. So let's look at the 5 small factions to determine which is the best to attack. I think the Geldar can be written off completely. Because they are Nathali, most of their troops are archers, making a castle siege almost suicidal. Not to mention they have plenty of small elite warbands patrolling the land, and in the end all you get is a castle. We could go for the Arulo, but their infantry is pretty nasty, and although we do get a town in the end, it's far away from everything. The same can be said of the Bakal Giants. They are too isolated from the rest of Perisno, makes venturing out into Perisno a bit grindy. That leaves us with the Sud Giants, the Kratos Monarchy, and the Kulan Horde. Both Kratos and Kulan only have castles as fiefs, while the Sud Giants have a town. Because owning a town is just much more profitable, we're gonna go with the Sud Giants. Whether you attack another small faction, the following strategy should be the following. Attack every lord in the field separately, take all lords prisoner, take over settlement by launching several minor assaults. So let's break it down. You don't want all the lords to team up on you and outnumber you, so you should attack all of them separately before they can team up. This is actually a good time to talk about how to beat the Sud Giants. Their strength is obviously their infantry. They are huge and strong, very dangerous, so the best way to beat them is with horse archers. Horse archers will dance around the giants who are too slow to catch up, so they will scatter into smaller groups, making it easier for your infantry to take them on. A line of archer is also very good at wearing giants down. So yeah, scatter them, wear them down, and then attack. Taking lords prisoners mean they cannot raise more armies against you. In the case of the Sud Giants, there's only 5 lords, including the king, so taking them all prisoner very quickly takes away their means to fight back. Once you've neutralized their armies, it's time to attack the town of Sud. The town is heavily garrisoned and has a lot of food to last a long time. When you assault the first time, it's very likely they will sally out, which is a good way to wear the garrison down, but you need to actually win. After that, instead of just going into an all-out assault, we're going to do several small attacks using archers. The goal here is simple. You bring your archers all the way to the town walls and unleash them on giant archers. The giant archers are pretty weak, so your archers will deal with them quickly. And once your archers run out of arrows, retreat. As you see, I only lost a few men while they lost a lot, so rinse and repeat, more assaults with archers. Once the garrison archers are pretty much all gone, you can assault with your infantry and cavalry. With every assault, the garrison thins out and eventually, you'll take the town. As I've said, if you don't want a somewhat remote location to start with, you can do the other option, which is to wait for the Zann to show up. As seen before, the Zann Invasion is massive and quick. They will wreak havoc on whatever faction they land in. But although the Zann start at war with all factions, they usually quickly make peace with most of them. So wait for them to take over most of a faction, but not all of it, and then attack said faction from your side while their army is neutralized. That way you take over a fief without being at war with the Zann, and with the beaten faction too weakened to strike back at you. Mind you, these factions have more lords and it's going to be more difficult to attack them separately. And if another big faction declares war on you, that's something else you'll have to deal with. Either way, you assure that the kingdom you just started will not be at war with a much stronger faction for long, and you can consolidate your power. Waiting for the Zann to invade is also practical in that if a faction is wiped out and lords lose their fiefs, they will change factions, and you having won means they might just come to you. So once you've got a kingdom going, kingdom management in Perisno is fairly easy to grasp. It takes the diplomacy sub-mod and just expands upon it. If you're not familiar with the sub-mod, basically it lets you hire extra staff members to perform certain functions in your kingdom. The Chamberlain can keep an account with money separate from the one you carry in your party to make the payments. It can also be used to collect all the money from all of your properties across Perisno. And finally, you can also initiate construction projects in all of your fiefs without physically being there by simply asking your Chamberlain. The Constable is pretty cool in that not only can he recruit troops for you, he can also train them while in garrison so that they improve even if you don't give them battle experience. The Chancellor I don't use as much, but he can change the domestic policy of your kingdom, which is something you set up when your kingdom starts, so the Chancellor can change it for you. In addition, Perisno lets you hire a priest, a spy master, and a high marshal. The priest is to choose an official religion. Check the lore tab for religions. Choosing specific religions may improve relations with certain factions, while decreasing them with others. I believe in freedom of religion myself, so I didn't choose any specific ones. The spy master can come up with a list of lords that could join you if you talk to them, which is convenient. But he can also provoke factions into fighting each other, apparently, but I'm not that shady myself. The High Marshal can basically recruit high-end war parties, the main feature being a big army to patrol your kingdom and protect it from bandits. It's a one-time cost and has no weekly payments. So there you have it. You got a kingdom to run, you know where to find lords who will defect, you have even more sources of income now. What you do at this point is up to you. If you want to stop the Zann, you can talk to Shi Jin to get a quest that will help with that. There's probably other unique quests you didn't get to do, and of course, there's a whole continent to take over. So thanks for watching everyone. If you're trying to play Perisno the legit way, I hope this helped. Check out my other mod videos if you haven't done so already, as well as my classic game series, where I play our childhood games that we totally forgot about for a solid dose of nostalgia. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.